What's your emergency?
Welcome back to That Weewoo Show, a podcast where we watch and discuss episodes of the ABC show 911. I'm Bex.
I'm Alice.
And I'm Ellen.
And a special welcome to the discussion of the Season 2 finale. We finally made it to the end of Season 2.
Oh my god, it's been so long and also so little.
Chim bled out for weeks.
Yeah, we made it though.
There was an earthquake at one stage.
That feels like so long ago.
It really
so
does.
long ago.
Thank you to everyone who has been listening to our Season 2 episodes and who have shared our episodes, shared our social media posts, done everything that they could to get word about our little podcast out. We do appreciate it. If you're listening to this episode and you have thoughts on Season 2, I believe that we will have already recorded our Season 2 wrap-up episode. However, we would still love to hear your thoughts on 911's Season 2. So please get in touch with us in the myriad of different ways that you can get in touch with us and let us know what you thought of Season 2. Did you like it compared to Season 1? Did it make you laugh? Did it make you cry? What were your favourite parts? And also, if you're feeling in a sharing mood, let us know your thoughts about That Weewoo Show's Season 2. Did we make you laugh? Did we make you cry? Did we make you want to punch something uncontrollably? We'd love to know what you think about us and the podcast that we are sending to your ears every week. So same, you can reach out to us on any of our social media platforms, or you can email us, or you can use the contact page on our website. We will go through all the ways that you can do that at the end of the episode, but we'd love to hear your thoughts both on ABC's 911 Season 2 and That Weewoo Show's Season 2.
Yes.
So let's get into it. Alice, what happened last week on 911?
So last week on 911, the 118 responded to a call about a mail bomb. But then Shannon died and everything sucked.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That's pretty much it.
Yes.
Yeah, as I started watching this episode, I was fully expecting there to be a bit more sadness about that, but we don't really get much at all.
Yeah, no, they move on from Shannon very quickly, and I'm still mad about it.
Yeah, poor Shannon. Justice for Shannon.
Justice for Shannon.
Justice for Shannon.
We know we're several years late, but justice for Shannon.
Justice never dies.
Okay, so this episode is episode 18, the Season 2 finale, titled This Life We Choose, which aired on May 13th, 2019. The 118 responds to calls from a stunt driver caught in a hairy situation. You were right about the puns in this summary. A teenage social influencer who is bugging out, and the city is on high alert after 2 mail bombs go off. Meanwhile, Eddie's family comes to town and Buck faces a life or death situation. And the triggers included for this episode are a car accident due to a bomb. We have gore in the way of partial scalping. Actually, this episode just brings all the disgusting gore. There were multiple times when I was like, okay, I'm not watching. I'm covering my eyes. We have a maggot in someone's face. Seriously, this is gross. And we have children who are at threat due to the serial bomber. So, where do we begin with this?
We start with a news broadcast.
And it's not Taylor.
Well, no, Taylor's not the anchor. She's just the roving reporter. Although she doesn't appear to be doing much reporting much.
No, they could have.
It's always Dwight on the couch, table, chair, wherever he is.
The desk.
Desk.
I would have got through every other piece of furniture in my room before I got there, but yes, desk. It is always Dwight.
Coffee table?
It is always Dwight behind the desk when it comes to reporting. But yes, Dwight is telling us that Angelinos are waking up a little bit on edge after a second package bomb it's exploded. And we get a little bit of exposition about the previous victims. The woman that we saw in the previous episode, we actually get her name now. She was Miranda, and she was a criminal defense attorney. And the second victim is a retired insurance adjuster.
Yeah, and he's clinging to life.
And Dwight
Jeez,
tells us, Dwight says that the authorities are urging the public to stay vigilant, and if you see something, say something, which triggers...
Come on and party tonight.
Which triggers a cascade of idiotic calls to 911 that Maddie and Josh and Linda have to handle.
Oh, yeah, they do a great shot, like, panning across the dispatch centre. First, Linda is on the phone and she says, if the truck's parked in a driveway with its hazards on, it's probably just making a delivery. And then we kind of pull back and Josh is at the next station. And he says, no, having a foreign-sounding name is not reason enough to send the police out to investigate your neighbours, which is slightly a little bit topical after. Anyway, let's not go into that.
But it was very much something that you would expect, that, oh my God, explosions are going off. Let's be racist about it.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then poor old Maddie, I think Maddie gets the best call of them.
Yes.
She has a woman who claims that she has the bomber pinned down because she caught him trying to put a package on her doorstep.
Yeah, there's a dog barking the entire, time in the background here. And Maddie's like, are you being attacked by a dog? And the lady's like, no, that's my dog. We've got the bomber pinned down. Yeah, no, it's the mailman.
The guy's
not
like,
her mailman.
I'm the mailman.
Her mailman is apparently out with, was it foot surgery?
Yeah, he had foot surgery. I love that she's immediately just switched from, not only is this guy the mad bomber, but he also did something to Larry.
Yeah.
I don't know. She must have the phone on speaker or something because we can hear clearly the conversation that she's having with this man.
Yeah.
I think that the people of Los Angeles just have amazing phones that no matter what, you can pick up everything through the phones.
I think that's actually the opposite of... I think they're really terrible phones because, phones these days have, background noise.
Yeah, noise
removal.
Cancellation type thing.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I think they've all just got really bad phones that have no...
Yeah, you can just hear
noise
everything.
cancellation.
Regardless. Maddie ends that call and gets the next...
Not before she gives Josh a look like, what the hell?
The next call sounds a little bit more serious, though, because there is a backpack outside the Brookside Elementary.
But, it is a school, so...
Oh, this whole call, I was just like, why did no one check to see if it belonged to any of the kids?
This entire scene is one that you literally not just switch off your brain, you need to remove it and place it in another room.
Yeah.
Because any stray thought that you have about this scene is just, you can't think about this scene at all because none of it makes sense.
No. Not at all.
So there's a plain red backpack in the middle of the playground, which, first of all, my kids, the school that they go to, they have a standard issue backpack. Everybody has the same backpack. Yeah. So if there is a random backpack out on the playground, you're not going to be able to tell whose it is because they all look the same. This school, however, it looks like the kids get to pick their own backpack. So surely somebody must remember which kid has the bright red backpack.
I guess, because in Australia, all the schools have, dress codes as well, whereas American schools just seem to not.
Yeah, well, they don't have uniforms.
Yeah, they don't have uniforms.
Not for their public schools, but I think their private schools and their charter schools do. But their public schools, no. So, so fallacy number one, there should have been at least one teacher in the school who knew whose backpack that was.
They're underfunded. Leave them alone.
Fallacy number 2. The backpack is in the playground. And yet they herd all of the kids out of the building into the parking lot behind the playground.
Yeah,
exactly in the line of fire.
And then the fire trucks come screaming in along with the bomb squad.
Into the pile.
And it reminded me of that scene in Kindergarten Cop when the alarms go off and they all run out of the building screaming. That was kind of what happened in this scene as well. The alarms
everyone's screaming.
They're all screaming as they run. It's not organised at all.
No.
So they pull into... So the 118 are there and the bomb squad. I like how you have called them the bomb squad.
I just saw that.
I assume you didn't really mean to...
No, I did
the
not.
Bob Squad, but that's cool. They can be the Bob Squad.
Go the Bob Squad.
So the kids so Buck tells them, okay, everyone get behind the trucks. So not like away from where the bomb is, just hide behind the truck and you'll be fine.
And I love that you were live reacting in the group chat as you were watching this, and you made a comment about the kids in the fire truck, and both Alice and I in the other chat are just like, oh my God.
Yeah, because I was like, they're hiding behind the fire truck so that if the bomb actually goes off, they will all be nice and squashed by the fire truck. And later that came back to bite, I guess.
So we have like a normal chat to just discuss like podcast things. And then Bex and I have our own, literally just to react to whatever Ellen's talking about.
I mean, technically,
I'm not allowed in there.
It's called spoiler screaming, so it's so that we can talk about things sort of happening that Ellen can't know about. But yes, but it was just so perfect. They're like,
watching,
yes, let's put the kids behind the fire truck so they don't get squished, and we're all like, oh. Just wait.
Oh dear. Yes,
so
the Bob Squad roll in and sort of they send their little robot, right? No, it's the guy.
No, we actually have Carlos in his full protective suit goes out to scan the backpack for this one.
Yep.
But he can't work out if there is anything dangerous in the backpack because there is something metallic interfering with the image.
It's very like thermos shaped, which is interesting in a backpack. Who'd have thought?
Yes.
So they decide that since the kids are literally right behind them, that they're not going to bring the backpack to the bomb squad truck. They're just going to remote detonate it.
Yeah.
Which they do. Carlos puts a little explosive charge on it, and then they blow it up. But it's kind of anticlimactic because all that happens is the backpack gets ripped to shred and this paste thing just gets splattered all over the bomb squad truck and the trees and the playground. There's no actual explosion. That's because it wasn't a bomb.
No, it was just some kids.
Carlos, the bomb diffuser, is like looking at it and he's like, the substance appears to be some kind of greyish paste. And then there's just this little voice going, it's tuna fish.
Apparently Emily does not like tuna fish.
And that's why she didn't speak up, even when all of the emergency services were rolling in. She didn't tell anybody. Well, maybe she told her friends. But she didn't tell the teacher.
Yep, she did not own up that was her backpack because then she would have been made to eat the tuna fish sandwich and she didn't want to do that.
I mean, it's something that kids would do, I'm sure. I believe it.
Listeners, if your child has ever blown up their backpack to avoid eating tuna fish,
have you ever blown up your lunch because you didn't like it? I used to hate when my mum would give me Vegemite sandwiches. Anyway, tuna in an Australian, like Queensland summer, tuna sandwiches is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Not at all. These days you can send little ice packs or whatever with your lunch, or they can take them inside the air-conditioned classroom. But in the olden days, we didn't used to have that.
do schools have fridges these days to like?
Yeah, they do, but I don't think
Not for the kids.
not for the kids. No, they just there are other things they put in the fridges, but like school
We used to have
things.
Did you guys ever do the milk thing where you'd like get milk at lunchtime?
No.
No, we didn't.
We had like this full like 6 months where every lunchtime we'd get like a bottle of milk to drink, like a little bottle of milk to drink. And like every week it'd change who, like which student was the milk monitor, and they'd be in charge of like handing out the milk. But it was literally just like plain milk. It wasn't even flavored.
Yeah.
It was just plain. And thinking about, I'm like, this is the most random. Why did we have?
Because they decided that the children of Victoria needed more calcium in their diets, I'm guessing.
Clearly.
No,
But
I don't
only
think we
for,
ever
like,
had
6
that.
months.
Oh.
That's so random.
So random. So weird when you think back to things like that you experienced as a kid and you're like, why?
I mean, I
Why was
randomly
that a
remembered
thing?
not too long ago that we used to sing like God Save the Queen on parades. This is when I was in primary school. I'm probably dating myself here by saying this, but it was for a while before we actually and the Australian National Anthem.
Yeah, we did the national anthem like was it every morning or just like once a week, I think.
Yeah, it was just on assembly type thing that we did it.
Yeah. But we were a school of 40 to 50 children,
All right.
like in the entire school. So I'm like, why? Weird primary school things.
Anyway,
Back to 911. The crew are discussing that they feel that the false alarms that they are responding to are more nerve-wracking the real thing. And as they're talking, and as Dispatch and LAPD and the ATF are talking over their radio, we get a shot of our mad bomber, who appears to be putting together another mail bomb. So even though Buck is hoping that backpacks with false alarms means that the serial bombing is over, I don't think it is. I think there is at least one more coming.
Mm.
And it is clearly the same serial bomber, because the box that he puts the thing that he's welding and soldering together has that little sticker on it that says "A gift for you," which we saw in the scene last episode with Miranda.
But now we're at the Grant household.
Yeah, all
Cake
that happens
time.
before the title card. It's a long cold open this time.
It was.
Yeah, they basically have an entire call before we get the title card or anything.
They do, yeah, they do. Yeah, so we're at the Grant household. Bobby, Athena, and May and Harry are tasting cakes. And
It's a smart idea that they're doing.
it is, but it's a weird, weird thing that they're kind of dropping us in. Because Bobby says this is our final contestant, puts 3 slices of cake down. And then we get the exposition. So once again, it's like, I don't know, maybe the kids just got home from school.
But it's evening, so it's...
Yeah,
I thought they were having dinner to start with until they started talking about venues.
I'm assuming that this is dessert, so they've had dinner and dessert is the cake testing.
Oh, you mean they're not having their ice cream before?
It's
Dinner
not
this time?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Tuesday.
I have been indoctrinated into the ice cream before dinner fandom, so...
Thank God. Finally.
Because Alice very kindly found somebody who had reformatted the fic so that it was in a format that I could read. So I was able to read it. And
I feel like we need to give them a shout out. Hang on, who was it? So she goes by the Mads Buckley on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Very much appreciate you,
Yes.
Mads, for reformatting the fic, because Bex is now officially part of the cheer squad.
I'm in love with this fic, so thank you very much for allowing me to be able to experience it and understand the hype over it.
And Tuesday we will be having ice cream before dinner together.
I'll have to. I'll put a link to maybe the fic and the. If you want a copy of the reformatted one, let us know and we'll hook you up.
We will.
So No ice cream before dinner, cake after dinner.
Yes.
Yeah. And the technique they're using is that Bobby and Athena are going to pick their wedding venue based on the caterers rather than picking the wedding venue and then having to find out a caterer that works with them. So they've settled on restaurants that can do weddings, and the cake is the litmus test. If they like the cake from the restaurant, then that's the restaurant that they're going to have the wedding at.
Yeah, it's a very smart idea because honestly, the cake's the most important thing.
The food is the most important part. It's the most expensive part. So, you want to make sure that you're going to enjoy what you're eating.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of a discussion about the upcoming Grant Nash nuptials, where May is all into the organisation and she wants to know if her mother has finalised the guest list yet. And Bobby says that they haven't because he wants to invite Chief Alonso, but Athena is holding a grudge and won't let Bobby invite him until Bobby has been unsuspended.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Harry's just pouting because he doesn't want them to do a stupid wedding. Athena's immediately worried. She's just like, I thought you were fine with us getting married, but if you need more time, like, we can postpone it. But Harry wants them to get married. He just doesn't want to wear a tux. Or dance with his sister.
Because his sister... I actually really like this scene because this is Athena's second wedding. So she's very sort of blasé about the actual details. What's important to Athena is that she ends up married to Bobby at the end of it. The rest of it is just gravy. But May, being so young, she's still very much in a wedding has to be A, B, C, D, and E. And one of those is Harry has to wear a tuxedo and he has to have a dance with May at some point at the reception. Otherwise, it's not a proper wedding. And Harry's like, I do not want to wear a tux and I do not want to dance with my sister.
Which is, it's such classic, like, 10 or however old Harry
And if
is.
I have to dance with my sister, then I do not want you to get married at all.
Yeah.
But they managed to talk him into it.
And we get the first of the episode title references.
Yeah.
So the title of this episode is This Life We Choose. So all of the characters are going to talk about the life that they choose throughout. So here, Athena says that a wedding isn't just about her and Bobby. It's about the three of them choosing to make Bobby a part of their life.
Yeah. And we're all going to walk down the aisle together.
Which sounds really nice.
It does, yeah.
And then Harry just gets this cheeky smile on his face and he goes, okay, but no tux.
We'll see how that plays out.
Speaking of families.
Yeah.
We're going to go to another family. We're going to go to the Diaz family, where they're having, I would call it a barbecue. I think it's not quite a cookout. Maybe it's just people grilling. I'm not entirely sure of how the Americans would
in
describe
Australia,
it.
it would be a barbecue.
They're having a barbecue out in the backyard of, I think...
They're having a Barbie, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're putting some snags on the Barbie. I think it's Abuela's house. Just because it's yellow. And we know that Abuela's house is yellow.
Eddie probably doesn't have a lot of room for having all these people over at his place.
Well, considering we don't even know if his place is an apartment or a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all at Abuela's house, hanging out in the backyard.
And we get to meet his lovely parents for the first time.
Oh, his parents, they're so charming.
The lady who plays his mother plays a drug dealer in the show Euphoria. So, like, she showed up and my hackles immediately raised. I'm just like, why are you here? What are you doing?
So I had no clue that these people were his immediate family until his father... Okay, so the woman makes a comment that Christopher is growing up way too fast and he was brave at the funeral yesterday. So we don't actually get to see Shannon's funeral at all.
I'm surprised they had a funeral for her.
Yeah.
Poor Shannon.
They just brushed
Hashtag
over
justice for Shannon.
this so badly in this episode. But anyway, she says that he's brave like his father, and Eddie says his mum was pretty brave too. And then the guy who turns out to be his dad says, how, by running out on him? And I'm like, oh my God, she's just passed away. And
literally, she just died.
Yeah.
Eddie is obviously, you know, extremely grieving at this point, and you're saying this? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I love that Eddie's abuela, who is his father's mother, just like snaps at him. She overhears this and she's just like, Ramon.
Yeah, and then Eddie calls him Pappy, and I'm like, oh, this is his father who's saying this. I mean, oh my God. So
Eddie's parents are charmers.
He did apologise.
They don't get better.
Great. No wonder Eddie left. I'm sure we'll get to that.
They immediately launch into, oh, we know Shannon loved Christopher, but now she's gone, and you're a single father again, and, you know, the hours you work, like, just come home. And, you know, because Texas has fires too. Eddie mentions that he's still a probationary firefighter.
Put your hand up if you forgot that Eddie was a probationary firefighter.
Yeah, I just assumed he was one of them.
He does,
Like
he
a
does not
full
act
one.
like a probie.
They don't treat him like a probie. We've seen how various captains treat probies on this show. And Eddie is not treated like that. I mean, granted, we saw the way Gerard treated probies. But, I mean, even Bobby made a mention in the last, in the Bobby Begins Again episode, where he was commenting to Hen about how clean the trucks were looking, and he asked whether she had done it or whether she got one of the probies to do it. So even under Bobby, probies are given, like, the shit jobs. And we've never seen Eddie do any of the shit jobs. He's just immediately been a fully fledged member of the A-team.
He's allowed to eat at the table with them.
Yes!
Yeah, literally. Like, is it because he was in the army and, like, because obviously he got that medal as well, so are they immediately like, yep, okay, he deserves our respect? Or is it because Buck was just like, this is my bestie, don't be mean to him?
I don't think they've thought about it that hard. He was just part of the team.
Yeah, they needed a fourth for that team, and they needed him to be a fully fledged member of that team. So they put in the exposition like this is Eddie Diaz, he's just graduated from the academy, and then they dropped that storyline like a hot potato. And they've only just picked it up now.
Until now, yeah.
Because, like, it should be mentioned, we get more probies later, and they're treated like probies.
Oh, yes.
So this is just an Eddie thing. Like, this is just like, yep, Eddie's special.
Eddie is very special. But yes, so he is still technically a probationary firefighter, and even though I am pretty sure that if he went down to Texas Fire and said, look, I'm an former Army medic, I've trained at LAFD, I've nearly finished my probationary period, there would be some kind of reciprocal learning or reciprocal recognition of his prior learning, and that he could fast track in Texas. But
yeah, maybe
he doesn't know
Texas
that he's just thinking, if I leave, I have to start all over again, and I don't want to do that.
Texas does have different, like, I don't know how much Eddie's looked into it, though, but Texas does have a different way of doing it. So, like, Eddie's probably done no research into it, however...
Well, he had not even considered it. This is Ramon's idea.
Yeah. But Texas, because, like, obviously Lone Star comes after this, by, like, 2 seasons. But Texas, the medical and, like, the paramedic side of it and the fire side of it are totally different.
Oh, I'm not saying that he could walk onto a crew, but I'm just saying that if there's, like, a syllabus of all the different units that he needs to tick off competency on in order to graduate from their training course, he could probably skip 3/4 of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got experience.
It wouldn't be having to start from scratch again. But that's neither here nor there, because he doesn't want to do that. He has a life here in LA. And he's suddenly realizing that his father and his mother and his sisters, who I believe are at this gathering, although we don't actually get any recognition or introduction to them, he's suddenly realizing that the master plan was an intervention. Not...
Yeah, like, they didn't come for the funeral. They came
yeah.
to kidnap Eddie and Christopher.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, Eddie's mum's just like, yeah, Christopher would be close to family. And Eddie's like, we have family here. And his auntie is literally sitting there Just like we're right. She literally says we are sitting right here.
Yeah, his aunt and his abuela are sitting right there.
Yeah, Tia Pepper is sitting right at the table.
But that's not what Helena meant. She didn't mean family. She meant her and Ramon.
Them.
Yeah. So Eddie pushes back and says he chose this life in LA for a reason, and Ramon just dismisses him and goes, "You can choose another life." And I want to punch him.
Yep. Fuck Eddie's parents.
What is really interesting with this scene, though, is that it sets up, or reminds us that that Eddie is still a probationary firefighter, which sets up the end of the episode where he graduates and gets his shield. But nothing comes out of this scene. There's no...
No, they just go home, don't they?
Yeah, they just go home. There's no sort of future tension at the end of the episode with is Eddie actually going to leave? Is there any risk of them trying to take Christopher away? It's just they bring this up and then they play happy families and then they're gone. And I'm struggling to remember how long it takes us within the rest of the series to see if they pick this storyline back up again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I don't understand why you're going to like drop this bombshell if you're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that they are concerned for him and want him to, now that he's alone again. But it's like, give him some space. He's just lost.
Yeah, like I wonder if it's
again.
just there to be like, oh, look, he does actually have parents.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
they
and he would have more support if he went to Texas, but he doesn't want to.
It fleshes out that scene in Eddie's second episode, where he's talking to Buck about Christopher and his life and the fact that he didn't get support from his parents. And then now you meet his parents and you think about that scene and you're like, oh yeah, I understand kind of what was going on now.
Yeah, well, now they're offering to support him again. It's like, but you want him to come home, but are you actually going to do anything when he gets there? Like, he sort of left because you weren't supporting him in the first place.
I feel like they wanted Eddie to do things their way, so he threw a tantrum and took Chris and came to LA, and this is the first time that Eddie has acted out. And so they gave him his space, and they're like, okay, now it's time for you to come home and be the good son again and be the good father and let us have our grandchild.
Mm.
And they are unprepared for him to keep pushing back against them.
Yeah.
I love the psychology of Eddie Diaz. It's so much fun to delve into.
Oh, so much fun.
And this is the only... I know I keep banging on about Shannon, but this is the only scene that we hear anything about her in this episode. She's not mentioned
again
at all.
No.
Apart from
and
this.
even then,
they
it's
don't even
still
say
just
her
a
name.
reference of no. We get a name drop. It's like we know Shannon loved Christopher.
Oh yeah, we did get that.
Yeah,
and we get he was so brave yesterday at the funeral. So it's like
we didn't even get to see the funeral. We didn't justice for Shannon.
Yeah.
I would also like to just put a pin in this episode on the Henley that Eddie is wearing, because it comes back later and it's hilarious. So just gonna drop that
in the episode, or
no, it's like late. I think it is sometime next season. I think.
Is this like the red shirt of bad decisions that we have in Supernatural?
No. Wait, what? That's not a theory I've heard before.
It's when...
All I can think is Demon Dean. Yeah,
yeah, Dean.
Continue.
Like, Demon Dean, like, a few different times he wears this red shirt and then he's always screwing up, basically, when he's wearing it. Huh. You haven't heard of that before?
I know that, like, the red shirt is associated with Demon Dean, but I didn't realise that it was associated with, like, Dean's bad decisions when he wasn't being
there's multiple other times. I'll have to see if I can dig. Like, I hate searching for things on Tumblr, so I may not be able to find anything.
No, that's fine.
But,
The only thing I know about red shirts is with Star Trek, which is like the red shirts are cannon fodder.
Yes.
But no, there's no deeper meaning to Eddie's shirt. It's just it comes back later, and it's one of those things that somebody pointed out to me, and I cannot unsee it. So I am flagging so that when it happens, I will point it out to you, and then you will never be able to unsee it again.
To be fair, the amount of theories in this show, like I'm surprised that there's not a Eddie's Henley one because, yeah, like we have couch theory, we have color theory. What else do we have?
There's lasagna theory, but I don't think that one holds weight.
Fandoms love to come up with random shit like this.
The
like
funny thing, so like we've to put this in like, oh my god, date context. We just finished episode 6 of season 8, and color theory came through again. So
what?
It's a thing.
What is color?
It's a thing, guys.
What is color? No, you don't have to explain it to me now. You can explain it to me offline because we gotta keep going.
I won't explain it in front of Ellen.
Don't tell me I won't be able to unsee it if you do. I'll be like watching the next episode and I'll be like, oh, the colour theory.
So we are going to leave the Diaz and their slightly uncomfortable family cookout.
Slightly uncomfortable.
And we're going to go to the Speedway. This scene is gross. This scene is fun. This scene has no place in this episode.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this scene's fucking weird, but
it's a life choosing thing. It is on theme.
No,
but
what? But is it though?
Yeah, the guy's choosing to,
be a dickhead.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think because, like, if it is the life he chooses, so then he's going to choose. We're jumping way ahead, but like he's going to choose his wife over his career. He then does a complete 180.
Yeah,
changes his mind and goes back to his original choice.
Yeah. Well, he's chosen to keep going in his career. Yes, it is on
theme, but when you think about all of the other storylines in this episode and the other choices people make, it doesn't really. It's one of these things that's not like the other.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so we're at the Speedway. There's cars doing laps. There are monster trucks lined up inside of a ramp ready to be jumped. We have an aging man with beautiful flowing long grey hair in a star-spangled jumpsuit comes out from under some kind of car. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And there's obviously the car is having some kind of mechanical problems and he's trying to fix them. The only thing I can ever really remember about this scene is it's got Cordelia Chase in it.
Yes. I was looking at her for ages going, she looks so familiar.
Oh my God,
she's got to be in Supernatural or something. And then I looked it up and it was like, oh, it's freaking Charisma Carpenter.
Yeah.
Because she actually was in Supernatural.
I was going to say, to be fair,
she was in
she was in one episode.
Yeah.
Right.
And it must have been around a similar time to this because maybe a couple of years later, but yeah.
She will always be Cordelia to me.
Yes. So she's helping him out. Like, he's asked how the crowd's doing and she's like, maybe 50 people tops. Most of them are looking at the phone. And the guy's like, we used to have so many more. And she says, yeah, folks have the internet now. They want to see dumb people doing stupid things. They just get it for free online. It's
so this
that's
guy,
what YouTube's for.
He's going to jump the monster trucks, right? Is that the stupid thing he's going to do? He's going to try and jump.
I think that's the thing. I think he's a stuntman. It's like, oh my God, what's his name?
Because we never actually see what this guy does. They never actually say what the stupid things is he's going to do because they get, well distracted. But, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that he's going to do. He's going to try and jump the monster trucks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're all lined up there ready for him to do it.
Yeah. But the car still needs a little bit of work.
They have some great, banter, these two, though. He's sort of telling her, like, yeah, he's hyped for this stunt or whatever. He's like, me and this car have got a lot of miles left on us, and I love how you've just written her down as Cordelia. She's like, this is dangerous.
It's one of those things where, like, we do find out the character's name, but not until right at the very end of the scene. And the transcript was giving me her name, and I'm just like, no, she is Cordelia.
No, she's Cordy.
She's Cordelia. Yeah, but they're acting like they kind of hate each other.
Oh my god, Evil Knievel!
Oh.
Sorry, it took me way too long to find. He's a play on Evil Knievel, I think.
Yeah, okay.
But I think Evil Knievel did like motorcycle stuff, whereas this guy does car stuff.
Yeah.
Because like Evil Knievel had the jumpsuit with the stars on it as well.
Okay.
Thank you for your research.
I got there. Jesus.
So yeah, he's helping. So Cordelia's helping him with like tuning up the car or whatever. So he's leaning over the engine, and he tells her to try it now, and she turns the car on, and like, I don't know. I think she's outside of the car when she does this, so she can't. She's not. No, she doesn't even step on the pedal or anything.
She's sitting behind the wheel.
Oh, she is. Okay.
So he tells her to try it now, but she doesn't hear him. So he leans right into the engine cavity so that he can peer under the bonnet at her through the windshield, and yells at her to try it now. And so because he's leaning in so far, his hair is dangling. When she turns the engine over, his hair gets caught in something. I don't even know.
It's one of the belts, yeah.
They say a belt. I have no idea. I have no idea about car engines, but his hair gets caught, and as the belt thingy spins, it's pulling his hair more and more until it literally scalps him.
Eddie specifically calls it the engine belt later. So
I don't think Edmundo knows what he's talking about either. I mean, the man is pretty, but I don't think he knows cars.
He sounds like he knows.
There
what he's
is a
talking
reason
about.
that Hen is.
He says alternator. I'm sure he's fine.
There's a reason that Hen is the one that goes under the car to undo it, and the boys are up top dealing with the patient.
Eddie's like, yeah, this is because there's no blinker fluid. Looks like the motor is shot.
Yeah, they need to get the lesbian to deal with it because the others have no clue.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. So this guy's hair is like ripped. Like his skin is just ripped off his scalp.
But it's
just
so
disgusting.
neatly. Like it's this neat little circle.
Yeah, it looks like a toupee.
It does look like a toupee has come off. I don't think that it would rip that neatly in reality if you were actually scalped.
Yeah, I think chunks of hair would have come. Like, I don't even want to think about it, but also,
yeah.
I think it would be extremely painful. And this guy doesn't really seem.
If you've ever been scalped,
he doesn't seem to be like bothered by it. Like he knows his hair's stuck.
We'll say that he's in shock, or that he was slightly drunk before they did this, so the alcohol is like kicked in.
Yeah, but he's more worried about the car.
He's very worried about the car.
So Cordy calls 911 and she says that his car, it's eating him alive. I'm like, what is it with things eating people alive around here? First the palm trees, now cars. What the hell? LA. It's more dangerous than Australia.
LA's inanimate objects are hungry.
Apparently.
So of course the 118 are dispatched.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. And Roy is concerned, one, for his car, and B, for his hair. And he would really like them to be able to get him out without cutting his hair because it's his trademark. Like, yeah, there's no way that they're going to be able to untangle your hair and get you out. So they very carefully, probably not as carefully as Roy would like, but they very carefully dismantle the front of the car and the engine of the car, pulling it to pieces until they can get Roy free.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, Hen is the one underneath with the socket wrench.
So as they're trying to get him out, he manages to flinch a little bit, and he bumps his head, and all this blood starts pouring out.
Yeah,
because apparently he managed to hit an artery.
Cordelia hits him because Roy is complaining because he can see in his peripheral vision them pulling all the pieces of car apart to pieces.
Yeah, he's getting upset about it.
And Cordy says that she thought that he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. And he snaps at her, setting you on fire. That would be a glorious blaze. So she hits him. And that jostles him, which, yes, apparently pulls the occipital vein.
Naturally.
And I would like someone to fact check Eddie on that. Because I don't think that's accurate.
No, I don't know. Don't know enough about it.
I did look it up slightly, but I mean, I have no medical knowledge, so I'm not really going to trust what Google tells me. But there is a vein, and it goes across the scalp, but it's down in the neck, and it's more the tributaries to the occipital vein that would be kind of where this guy starts bleeding. It's also, Eddie has picked up on the 118's ability to be able to diagnose just by looking at you, so how he knows it's specifically the occipital vein and not any of the other veins on the guy's head that has been the one that is quote-unquote burst, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think because the occipital vein is the only vein in the scalp. Like, that's just what they call...
I don't know.
Yeah. But, like, if it's a vein as well, he shouldn't be bleeding out because it's arteries that
do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But I
I
guess-
really thought that all this blood that was pouring out was just going to go all in Hen's face and she wouldn't be able to unscrew whatever she was unscrewing.
Because, I mean,
But she
she's
manages
under
to get it
there,
off.
and you can see that it's dripping onto her hand. So, yeah. I'm surprised that she didn't catch it on the face or in the mouth or something while she's under there.
Oh, God, yeah. This episode, seriously. It's like, oh, okay. They managed to get the part of the engine that he's caught in free.
Yeah. And
he gets out. And Cordy's like, don't let him die, you guys. I love the bastard. And then Roy says, if I get out of this alive, I'll never do a reckless thing ever. I'm done with that life. And then later, Hen says, I think it's Hen, says he's going to live.
Yeah.
And then Roy immediately says, I'm going to live. Keep the parts safe. I'll be back. Come back to her next week.
A decent toupee. We can do this. Which is why I was saying that if it's about the life that he chooses, he only chose his life for 30 seconds and then immediately went back on his choice.
No, he's chosen the life of comeback tour.
Yeah. So that's the life he chose.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like the way they end this scene, which is Cordelia, her character is Maud, but that's just that her name does not fit her. So we're going to stick with Cordelia. She goes from, elated relief that Roy's going to survive to murderous rage when he tells her that he's going to go back to stunt work. And she just screams at him, Roy, you son of a... And I'm guessing that Fox didn't want to have to pay for profanity, or they didn't want to use up their swear words, or they didn't want to increase the rating on this episode, because before she can finish her last word, the ambulance doors slam shut and we go to commercial.
Do they have a swear word allowance, do they? They're only allowed
I think I remember the CW...
They would, yeah.
The CW used to. They could only have bitch a couple of times, so they had to be very careful how often the actors said it.
Oh my God, that's so weird.
I think I remember Jensen saying something about that, and I don't know whether Fox would be different because CW was a youth network, and whether Fox being more a grown-up network, it would be different. But possibly if they use certain language, they would have to increase the rating of the episode.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, they decided they didn't want to actually have her say son of a bitch. So it became son of a commercial.
Yeah. Son of a
Son of a commercial.
Damn, that's a swear word.
And then after the commercial, we get the first look of Buck's loft.
Yes.
It's a beautiful apartment.
It's beautiful.
It's very small, but...
Well, I mean, it's just for him.
It's a loft, yeah.
He doesn't really need a lot of space, because he, most of the time he's at the station house or at Eddie's house. So, a bedroom and a bathroom and a place to store his shit's really all he needs.
Yeah.
A place to put his couch.
Yes.
So So he keeps this place for a while, does he? Just to spoil me on that.
This is going to be a standard set from now on. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's good because
Like,
that's quite nice. Yeah.
He still has it in season 8. Let's just...
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like it's Buck's house.
His very first grown-up house. And I love how bashful he is when he tells the realtor that it's his first place all on his own.
I know,
Like baby's first
Yeah,
apartment.
because Ali is there with him looking at it. And the realtor assumes that they're moving in together.
Who's the girl from the...
Yeah,
the girl from the
earthquake girl,
earthquake.
yeah.
Because we haven't seen her in a few episodes.
No, she was out of town last time they were talking about her.
Yeah, so she's the girl that Eddie and Buck saved during the earthquake. She then asked Buck out after he slept with Taylor Kelly. And apparently they've been in a relationship, but she's out of town a lot for work.
And with Maddie, I'm assuming, leaving her apartment, Buck has come to the realization that he needs somewhere to live of his own. So he's gone apartment hunting, and Ali, being... Is she an architect or an interior designer?
Yeah, something like that. She had samples for that guy.
Yeah, he calls her an interior designer.
Yeah, so she has knowledge of real estate and spaces. So he's brought her along, I guess, to help him pick an apartment, but she also has a vested interest in the apartment that he picks because she travels a lot for work, and Buck is better than a hotel when she is back in LA. Which makes me wonder, where has she been staying while Buck's been sleeping on Maddie's floor?
Yeah,
well, a hotel, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they've been going to a hotel together.
Yeah, or just to the fire trucks. I don't know. Like, Buck's not picky.
Oh,
Use van, rental car, that's fine.
but the sad thing about this apartment is that it is a lofted apartment. So there is a set of stairs that go up to the bedroom. And the timing of Buck buying this apartment is it's so sad.
Yes.
Renting. He does say it's lease.
It's a lease? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a lease.
All right. So Buck's found his apartment. Let's move to our next victim and our next 911 call.
Oh,
this seems disgusting.
This is Becca. Becca is a beauty influencer who's just come back from Belize, and she's doing a live stream.
And she talks exactly like how these
Hey
YouTube
guys,
girls
it's
do.
Becca. Oh my god.
I just got back from Belize and I found so many products to show you guys.
She's like totally reeling from all that travel, but that's the life that I chose. Take a shot. And she apparently, her trip to Belize was sponsored by a makeup company, but
Yep, Pouty Gal Lipwear.
thank God it wasn't a skincare company, because she's come back from Belize with this massive pimple, which is like so gross, you guys. But it's real life, and she's always going to keep it 100. So for today's live stream, Becca's going to show us how to pop a pimple.
The proper way.
Oh,
The proper way would be, number one, Becca goes and washes her hands. Which she does not do.
Also, I'm pretty sure the proper way is to not pop a pimple.
Do you guys watch, like, Dr. Pimple Popper?
no.
Yes, all the time.
You do.
You absolutely, like, oh my god, I'm addicted to popping pimples, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to pop pimples.
I don't think you are.
I cannot watch that. I'm like, no, thank you. So this scene, I mostly did not look at the screen until she was still like, she started like doing, like, she's like, oh, you got to start back from the pimple and like push away. Oh, it's just, there's a lot coming out here. And I'm like, what is she doing? I look back at the screen just in time to see this little worm coming out of her face. And I was like, what? And the thing that I love about it is this scene is so disgusting, but it's really well done because the chat is like scrolling up the bottom of the screen.
So we're watching this a lot via the live screen, so we can see like the live comments. So
the live comment, like the chat is there, and they're all like, "Oh my god, so disgusting! What is that? Is that a worm?"
And then they're just like, "I think it's a maggot," because sure enough, which as she squeezes, a
Oh.
maggot comes out, followed by a trail of like goop.
Oh. It's
it's
pus.
so gross.
It's
so
pus.
disgusting. And then
It's
she
definitely supposed to be pus.
freaks out and like flails basically, and then ends up on the floor.
She starts screaming for her mummy too.
And she uses Siri to call 911, which I think that's pretty cool. So of course the 118 get dispatched, and just like we were watching Becca through the live stream, this scene where the 118 arrive, we see it both through normal camera and through the live stream, which is fun because...
Which is still watching what's going on.
Oh yeah, the live stream is still live. Hen and Chim mostly dealing with Becca. Buck and Eddie work on clearing the space so they've got more room to work, which means they're pushing the vanity away. So they end up front and center on the live stream.
Yeah,
Which
they're
the
getting
chat
a lot of comments.
The
chat loves
the
it.
comments that come up in the chat.
They can put out my fire anytime.
There's it goes from like, oh my god, Becca, I hope you're okay. Okay, thoughts and prayers, Becca. Like, you're the best, Becca. And then, hello, Mr. Firefighter.
Those two can put me in a sling anytime. Oh no.
So meanwhile, Chim's asking because Dispatch said something about an animal.
Oh yeah, because
Becca says it came out of my face.
Yeah, because the first thing Becca, they're pretty sure she's fractured her clavicle.
Yeah, they've actually called 911 for her arm.
Yeah, which that's not much they can do with on site. They just need to not isolate whatever it means to hold it in position so that it's not going to
immobilize.
Thank you.
That's the one.
They need to immobilize the arm and the shoulder so they can get her to hospital for x-rays and yada, yada, yada. But yes, Dispatch did mention an animal.
Yeah. So Eddie asks what they're looking for exactly, and Becca's like, oh, it was a little worm or grub. And Hen's like a maggot. And Becca goes, don't say maggot.
And then
As Buck, oh my god, he's so happy, just goes, maggot!
And
it's the best. I've watched this part so many times that I forgot that it was the last the last episode of season 2. Because he's just so happy.
I don't think we've seen Buck this happy since he was pulling the tapeworm out of that guy's ass.
Yeah, literally since tapeworm.
Yes. You're right.
He just loves insects, especially insects that have come out of people.
Look, you've got to have a special interest. It's fine. Good for him. Anyway, so Hen asks if Becca's been out of the country lately and whether she's been to Central and South America. And she's like, no, but I did just get back from Belize. And Eddie is just like, yep, Belize is in Central America. And she's like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess he's very pretty. He may only have one brain cell, but he does know his geography. He is correct.
Which is good, because I don't.
I had
no fucking idea where Belize is.
I had to look it up. It is in Central America. It is south of Mexico and bordered by Guatemala.
So this is a botfly maggot.
The maggot, maggots is just the larval form of a fly.
Yeah.
So it's a botfly larva. So, and Hen explains that botflies reproduce by trapping mosquitoes, laying their eggs on the mosquitoes, and then when the mosquito lands on you and bites you, stings you, whatever it is mosquitoes do to you,
stabs you in the face.
The eggs transfer from the proboscis of the mosquito into your skin, and the eggs grow and hatch, and then the little larval form of the botfly, it just comes out of your skin.
Yeah.
And so I love that Becca is pulling an eel face. Chim is also pulling an eel face at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and Buck is like, luckily, it looks like he got it all out in one piece. And Hen goes, they'll be able to extract the rest at the hospital. And she's like, the rest?
Just think of them as new followers.
Ugh.
I will say that as I was watching this scene and writing the notes, I was gagging because it's just so gross.
Oh, it's so horrific.
So Buck has got the maggot in a specimen jar and he's looking at it like it is the best thing he's ever seen in the world.
Yeah.
He's fascinated with it. It's so cute. I don't know who decided that Buck was going to become fascinated by insects and creepy crawlies.
I hope it was Oliver.
I really do hope that Oliver just decided, you know what, this is going to be Buck's special interest. Because it's just so much fun.
And the chat's still going, like the live stream's still going.
Yep.
And she realises, she's like, wait, can someone grab my phone? As they're trying to take her out of the room. And Buck and Eddie are like looking at the phone and they're like, Buck like just waves to the camera.
They do like this simultaneous wave, but Buck just like lights up when he sees himself on camera, and Eddie's just like, what is this? I don't know about this. So,
Oh, bless him.
And then in the chat, we've got Kanye West 5679 guys like, oh my god, those two are so cute together. We're getting a little bit of fan service happening in the chat on the live stream.
I didn't see that one.
Before Eddie turns it off. So we're at the Grant household. Michael is dropping off Harry and May after school, and they find a package on the front doorstep, which Harry immediately wants to pick up, but the audience,
Thankfully,
we can see
Michael
that it's
sees.
got that red fragile tape and that little gold sticker that says a gift for you. So we know that it's a little bit sus. Thankfully, Michael, I don't think can see it, but he just knows package bombs, unexpected package on Athena's front doorstep. Let's proceed with caution. And
Oh yeah, like Athena's absolutely like been like, yeah, there's mail bombs, don't touch any packages.
yeah. Maybe Athena is not so much of an online shopper that packages are just showing up on her doorstep every single day.
Yeah,
Maybe they've got a post box, because I don't know. Obviously, there is a reason that Michael realizes that this is something wrong. So they call... I'm guessing they call 911. Funnily enough, the 118 do not get called. It's the 122 that respond to this one.
Yeah, Athena also doesn't get called.
Well, she gets...
Isn't she in Civvy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she's
in
not
Civvy,
on
so she's
shift,
off
so-
duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know where she was, but
I'm assuming that she must have been finishing work, but so Michael's got the kids, he's dropping them off, and she's on her way home to meet the kids. Anyway.
That makes sense.
But
she does have her badge with her, so she shows
Yeah,
it,
so they've
the
cordoned
cops.
off like the street and Athena's property, but she's flashing her badge as she screeches up so that they'll let her through the tape to see the kids and Michael. And we meet Sean Boyd, who's part of the ATF, who is running point on the serial bomber task force. And we get a little bit of discussion about the bombs as they send out the wheelbarrow, which is the little remote-controlled vehicle that they'd send out when they don't send out Carlos in his big suit to investigate the package.
The wheelbarrow? That's not a very good name for a robot.
That's what it's called, according to Wikipedia.
I know, right?
Ah.
What about Wally?
It looks a bit like Wally.
Well,
with its little claw.
Considering that the wheelbarrow was first kind of invented in the 70s, which like predates Wally by several decades.
What about the Bob Squad?
They could have called him Bob.
They could have brought him Bob.
Yeah.
They didn't. It's called the wheelbarrow. So as
Okay.
So Bob's going up to the package, and
we've learned that there have now been 3 bombings. We had
not the two
we had
that
Miranda
we-
the lawyer, we had the insurance adjuster, and there was a third one this morning, who was a Superior Court judge, who unfortunately did not make it.
But so Bob picks up the package
He's got a little
very
pincer
carefully.
hand.
Does shake it around a fair bit on its way to the steel box. And I'm like looking at
He's
it going,
trying really
that
hard.
that other lady, like, all she did was just shake it a little bit and it blew up. And this thing's just, like, wobbling around on its tracks. But anyway, puts it in the box and closes the lid.
They've got, like, this giant reinforced metal box, and they're hoping that if they put the package into that box, they can take it away and examine it.
Yeah, they want some clues.
They're hoping that it doesn't blow up because they want the evidence from it.
But unfortunately, every package has gone off as soon as someone moves it.
And then it immediately explodes.
And immediately it explodes.
But it's because it's inside the box and it's like a little explosion. And then Harry does his best Marvin the Martian impersonation, like, where's the kaboom? There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. No, what he says is, that's it? That was it? And I'm going, yeah, that was it, but if your mother had been holding that box in her hands, several inches away from her face, I'm pretty sure that she would not be upset that was it.
Yeah, it's also in a big reinforced, like, metal box at this point. But yeah, then we go inside, and Bobby's arrived.
Bobby gets escorted into the house.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him in, so he's finally made it.
Oh, he looks pretty frantic. He runs in, scoops her up in a hug,
poor Bobby.
And they talk about if they know who's doing it.
And can we give a shout out to Boyd, who is the actual one doing the detective work in this episode for once? It's not Bobby and Athena doing it. Someone else has put the pieces together. Someone whose job it is to put the pieces together has put the pieces together. Because he asks them if they remember an arson case about 3 years ago at a restaurant.
Oh, you mean the arson case we just revisited like 2 episodes ago in Bobby Begins Again?
So convenient.
Yes.
Amazing.
I wonder why, of all of the things that they had to show us about Bobby's first days in Los Angeles, that was the episode, that was the case that they had to show us. But yes, Athena might not remember it, but it's burned into Bobby's brain because it was entry number 1 in his little book of names. Guillermo's.
Yeah.
And Bobby remembers that the owner was Victor Costas. He burned down his restaurant for the insurance money and he got 6 years for it. And he should still be in prison. Boyd went, well, he got early release on account of that he's dead. He died of cancer about 3 months ago. Bobby remembers how pissed off Victor's son, Freddie, was when they arrested Victor, and says he was really angry when his father got arrested. And Athena goes, oh, okay, yeah, I know where you're going with this. I wonder how angry he is now.
Yeah, now that his father's dead.
So we've got prime suspect.
Did Boyd put this together himself? Like, did he already have the kid down as a suspect? Or did Athena and Bobby just solve his case for him?
I'm pretty sure he knew.
It would make sense that he would know if he knew that, if he's asking them about Victor Costas.
If he's specifically asking them about Guillermo's, I'm pretty sure that he's already got there. He was just updating them, like, hey, we think it's this particular case, and they've just picked it up and started running with it. Thankfully, they're running in the correct direction. Because we then cut to our interrogation room where Romero, hi Romero, it's nice to see you back again, is interrogating Dr. Rebecca Lauren Aries Slater Costas, whatever the hell her name is. I don't think I ever learned it.
She's Ellie.
Freddie's mother.
That's her name. That's her name in the show. But
what's her name in the show?
Ellie.
Ellie? All right.
Ellie Costas,
I'm just going to call her Freddie's mum.
I just look at her and see Rebecca. So
I know. Same here. I can't unsee that now.
But she's actually really great in this episode. She's, like, in acting terms, she's distraught the whole way through.
Distraught but angry.
Yeah, really in tears and just furious with the whole thing.
Yeah. But she cannot help Romero because she doesn't know where Freddie is. She hasn't seen him since her husband's funeral 3 months ago. And she seems to blame the LAPD for her husband's death.
Well, we lost everything. Like, I don't know if she blames them or she blames her husband. Like he
Well,
was the one who
Romero-
burnt down the place.
Romero says that he's sorry for her loss, and she says, "Are you? You're the one that put him in prison. Not Romero specifically, but him as a representative for the LAPD and the LAFD and the whole system in general." But yeah, if they're going to be angry at anybody, they should be angry at Victor, because he is the idiot who decided that it would be a good idea to burn down the restaurant for the insurance money, and then was stupid enough to get caught.
Yep. And Bobby and Athena are watching from behind the one-way glass. And
Yeah, I think two-way glass is just a window.
yeah. The one-way. And Boyd comes in and tells Bobby that there's nothing at his house, so he should be okay. But Athena says, well, you were there when he was arrested for some reason. We still don't know why, but he was there. But
In order to make this storyline make sense,
yeah, I guess so.
they were playing the long game.
But yeah, Bobby's just like, well, maybe you searched the wrong house. And then we immediately cut to the 118.
And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
But it's the 118 have been dispatched on a call, and I really hope that it wasn't like an emergency, because they're not going to get there.
Yeah.
I think all their calls are emergency.
No, but
That's kind of why they're emergency.
but is
An
but is it
urgent
like
emergency.
an emergency, or is it like a cat stuck up a tree emergency?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to get there. So there we see the ladder truck rolling down the street, and then they get a call over their headsets from dispatch, because Bobby has not called their personal phones like Chim does when he's trying to get in touch with them. He has gone through proper channels, and he has called dispatch, who is then going to put a message through to them over the radio. But he doesn't actually get to tell them. I don't even know what he's going to tell them. All dispatch says is that we've got Bobby Nash on the phone, and he says it's important. And before anybody can say anything else, there is an explosion, and the ladder truck tips over. And when the dust settles from the explosion, we see that several members of the 118 have been thrown free from the ladder truck and are lying on the street. And then we find Buck, who was also thrown free, but not far enough, because the ladder truck has landed on his ankle and is pinning him to the ground.
He's looking pretty beaten up. The rest of him as well. He's got blood all in his face. Who else was in the truck? Because Hen and Chim were in the ambulance, right? They're not.
Oh, just assorted.
And Eddie wasn't in the truck either. Or was
Apparently
he? And he was
not.
fine.
No, because he does not look like he's got a scratch on him.
No.
So it looked like everything rolled out. It looked like the ladder truck, the engine truck, and the ambulance. So I'm going to say Eddie must have been in the engine truck. So Chim and Hen were in the ambulance. Buck was in the ladder truck. Eddie was in the engine truck. I have a feeling John was in the ladder truck. Poor
Not John.
He's really regretting that he lost in the drawing of straws and got bumped up to the A team. He thought he had it. He thought that he'd hit the payday. He'd hit pay dirt, and now he's just like, fuck it, I should have just stayed with the B shift.
Yeah, because they keep going on all these weird cases, like people with flies in their face and like just
And now he's
random
just
shit.
got blown up.
Yeah, thrown out of the fire truck. God.
And it's not even that he got blown up and thrown out of a fire truck. It's that nobody can come and help him because there's a teenager with a suicide vest wandering around.
Yeah, not content with blowing things up at a distance anymore. Freddie has decided to insert himself into the show. He's got a vest on. He looks down at Buck and goes, "You're new." It's
Dun,
like,
dun, dun. Yes. Well, like Bobby says, Buck wasn't even a firefighter when Freddie's father burnt down the restaurant. So yeah, he's new.
so it was a few years ago, but amazingly, Freddie doesn't look a day older.
None of them look any older. Funny that.
Yeah, but when you're a teenager, like 3 or 4 years is quite
Yes, he should
a difference.
He should have grown quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not supposed to.
He's a
we're
late
not supposed to
bloomer, okay?
question.
His dad just died.
Oh. For some reason, I mean, I shouldn't really question it because they always do this, but the news is there.
Quote unquote,
Someone
for
is
some
filming.
reason, it's a narrative device in order to tell the story.
It is, but they're broadcasting this live. A traffic
And it's
crash.
not Taylor Kelly again.
Yeah.
But yeah, why is it Dwight again? Shouldn't it be a reporter, like reporting from the ground or in the helicopter? Why is it the anchor that is the one reporting the story? I mean, yes, I know why it is, because they've got the set and they've got the setup and they don't need to pay an extra person, yada, 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 yada. It's just...
Yeah. I don't know, like if there's a person there with an explosive vest on, would they really be live broadcasting this whole thing on the TV?
Yes. Fuck yes. Can you imagine the ratings if their reporter gets blown up live on air?
Oh, yeah. So this is the reason that Maddie sees what's happening.
Yeah, because it's not just us watching this. This is being broadcast to the 911 dispatch centre where Maddie has learned of her brother's predicament and is watching it live. She's trying to diagnose Buck through the...
Yeah, she's gone into full nurse mode.
Yeah, which I think is just her way of coping with it. Like, she's trying to switch herself off and just be professional. But then she can't keep up the act, and all she can see is that her baby brother is all alone under the truck, and nobody is helping him. It's like, why? Josh is going, like, he's not alone. He is surrounded by people who want to help him. And she's like, but why can't they? Why is no one helping him? And Josh is reassuring her, like, you know that they can't. Because you got Freddie with his vest standing right over Buck. And then Freddie starts demanding the captain.
Yeah, Bobby and Athena have turned up.
Of course they have.
I'm not sure where they were, but they have turned up on scene.
I'm assuming that they were at the police station still. So they would have been at the police station. Bobby's frantically trying to call the 118 to warn them. Then somebody's called 911 and it's got back to the police that the 118 there's been an explosion, the 118 are down, and Bobby's gone, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Running into danger, as
But
always.
there is a lot with this scene in particular where everything kind of happens off camera and off screen, and we don't actually see what's happening. We just see the end results, which is Bobby and Athena ending up on the scene.
Yep. Yeah, so Freddie's calling out for the captain. Where's the captain? And Chim actually comes out saying, I'm the captain. Just let me help them. And
yeah,
Freddie's
because
like,
it
well,
looks
who
like...
are you? You're not the captain.
Yeah, Chim is hiding behind the ambulance with Hen and Eddie, and it looks like he's not going to move until one of the 118 members on the ground tries to crawl away, and Freddie snaps at him and says, like, told you not to move, and it looks like he's about to do something to the dude. And Chim's like, no, I can't let him hurt one of my crew members, so he steps forward and says, I'm the captain. And it kind of feels like I'm Spartacus, because Freddie doesn't believe him at all. He's like, no, you're not the captain.
Yeah, I don't want
Hen
you.
steps out. I am the captain.
Eddie's like, no, I'm the captain.
I am a probe captain.
You know, Freddie is very specific. He doesn't just want the captain. He wants Captain Nash.
Which he really should have specified earlier.
Yeah. At which point, Bobby looks at Athena and then whispers to her, I love you, and just starts walking.
And Athena's just standing there like, well, I guess he's going.
That's my man.
Throwing himself into danger again.
That's the one I chose. Can I change my mind? Can I give him back?
Well, he's about to get blown up because he's like...
But the ATF and the FBI are trying to stop him from walking out, and he's not even turning around, not even stopping.
I love this. Boyd's like, he wants you dead. And Bobby's like, yep, let's give him what he wants. Shoot me if you have to. It's like, hang on.
Suicidal idiot. Yeah. The news anchor is like, oh, this is unexpected. A civilian. It's like, oh my God, why are they still filming? We've got no details on this man's identity. Are you kidding? He's like one of the heroes of LA.
Dwight, didn't your channel just do an expose about them?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
didn't-
Literally.
Like, Taylor ran a story on the 118 and
he
everybody...
must have not watched.
Hasn't watched those fluff pieces.
Nah.
I do like the way that they stage this scene with Bobby and Freddie, because when Bobby steps up, they have it set up so Bobby's on one side, Freddie and Buck are in the middle, and Chim and Hen and Eddie are off to the other side. And as Bobby is talking, he starts to slowly circle around Freddie, so that he ends up with his back to Hen and Chim and Eddie, shielding them figuratively and literally, putting himself between them and the bomber. I just thought that was a really nice touch.
Captain Dad at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's trying to talk Freddie down.
He's sort of asking, like, this is what you wanted, and Freddie's like, I wanted you dead. Bobby's like, I get that, but what about them? Yeah, what about him? And he points at Buck, who's still under the truck, like, bleeding out gradually. And he's got parents, a sister, a girlfriend. He never did anything to you. He wasn't even a firefighter. This is that point where he says that. And Freddie just calls him collateral damage. So, like, but this is when Bobby's trying to circle around him, and Freddie's like, no, stop. One more step and we all go boom, and he's holding onto the detonator for the bomb. And Bobby tries to talk him out of it. He says that he's sorry about what happened to him, but he stopped being a victim the moment you left the first bomb.
But most importantly, Bobby tells Freddie that he got dealt a bad hand, but what he chose to do with that hand was his choice.
This is the life that he chose.
This was what he chose.
Yes.
I mean, I have to give props. This is a Tim Minear written episode. And it's like he's watched all season. He's watched all of his other writers in the writer's room try to do these thematic episodes. And he's gone like, no, let me show you how it's done. And he's very elegantly weaved this theme of choice into the storylines, into the dialogue. It's there, it's noticeable, but it doesn't feel like I'm being smacked over the head with it.
Yeah, he says that his mum, and he lost everything. And Bobby says, you're just going to make it worse if she has to watch you die. And then they brought his mum there.
Yeah,
they literally just bring his
He
mum
nods
Why is she
over
there?
Freddie's shoulder, and Romero and Athena are leading Freddie's mother out into the street so that Freddie can see her and so that she can see Freddie.
Yeah, so Athena did pick up the phone, like, a little bit earlier and say, like, how far away are you? So that was clearly them bringing the mum out. Like, the mum on the way.
But, it's one of those things that there's lots of stuff happening off camera, off screen, that they just didn't tell us was happening, and they just, ta-da, end result. Here's your mother.
Yeah.
This is your life.
I was sort of watching this thinking, if this was real life, like if he's threatening everyone with live explosives.
The issue is that the detonator that Freddie has in his hand, we don't find out until after, like, toward the end of the scene, but it's a dead man switch. So if they shot him, he'd blow up.
It would explode, yeah.
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 So they can't risk that. They need him to remain conscious and holding on to that detonator. I'm assuming that they brought his mother down to try and talk him down, which Bobby doesn't even give it a chance to work, because as soon as Freddie sees his mother, Bobby tackles him. Gets one hand on Freddie's hand to keep the pressure on the detonator.
And then the SWAT team come in.
And then SWAT come in.
There are people who are better trained at dealing with people with explosives, surely, than just Bobby jumping in.
Nash. This is Captain Bobby Nash that we're talking about here.
Yeah. I mean, it's very brave.
So now that Captain Hero Bobby Nash has done all the hard work, SWAT decide that they are now willing to step in. They hurry Freddie off into custody, and that frees Hen and Chim and Eddie to go in and check on Buck, who's kind of still under the truck, and he's kind of numb. which is probably a good thing, really.
Yeah, it depends how much he's bleeding, I guess.
Yeah, like his body's definitely going into shock at this point.
Yeah, Eddie presses a hand to his cheek and reports that his skin is cold and pale.
So they run 2 lines. They push sodium bicarbonate. Chim calls him Buckaroo.
And then we get the most ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
And yet I cry every time.
And yet I cry.
Every time I
rationally, I know how
very
ridiculous this is, but it still tugs at the heartstrings. So they need to get the truck off Buck. They can't treat him until they can get him out of there. But rather than using all of the tools available to them, including inflatable bags that they can stick under the truck and use pneumatic power to lift it, they decide they're going to try and lift the truck with their bare hands to get Buck out.
Yeah, 4 of them.
Like, they literally go to car crashes all the time, but they're like, no, we'll just lift it off.
Yeah, we can do that.
Every time
they're in a hurry.
Because,
but it's
still.
not like they have to go. I mean, I'm sure that those pads are either on the ladder truck or on the engine truck, which probably is not going to be far away, or they would have called another house to come. So that, like, the 122 should be there, so they should have them as well.
I mean, if this had been Eddie under the truck, Buck would have just jumped in the truck and, like, smashed it out of the way. Like,
if this had been Eddie under the truck, Buck would have had that thing that mothers have.
Yeah, he would have
they
lifted
suddenly get superpowers, and he would have lifted it single-handedly.
Buck would have dug through the ladder truck with his bare hands. Anyway, so they're all trying to lift the fire truck off, except that Hen is still treating him. And Eddie is not let go of him. Holding Buck's hand. And I'm just crying.
I'm pretty sure that if you're thinking about it, like, no, he's holding onto Buck, ready to pull him as soon as they get the ladder truck off him. But it's one hand on Buck's arm and one hand holding his hand.
Yeah.
Aww.
Like, Eddie's there for comfort.
Eddie is, I'm sure he's telling himself it's just so that he can help move Buck, but it's also that he just does not want to let go of Buck. But can I also add that it must have been fucking painful for them to keep lifting, like, taking the pressure off Buck's ankle and then having the pressure immediately just go back on his ankle when they lower the truck.
It's not really on his ankle. It's right underneath his knee.
Yeah.
Like, it's all of his leg.
Yeah, it's all his
leg. But yeah, could you imagine, like, they lift the pressure off just that little bit, and then probably the nerves start firing because suddenly he's getting a little bit of blood flowing back through it, and then they drop the truck back on his leg.
Yeah, right? Because every time they lift it too, he screams.
Yes.
But, like, to be fair, that with, like, 3 of them trying to lift, they're probably not lifting it very far.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah. So, but funnily enough, no, they can't lift the truck off. So they
look. Chim was able to lift all of Tommy above his head, so he might have been able to do it.
So they decide that. So Chim says that he will radio again for assistance, and I didn't pick this up until our friend at Fire Department Chronicles pointed it out. But Chim lifts the radio to his ear like it's a cell phone.
Yeah. Oh, I love Chim so
much.
But
it doesn't matter that he's using the radio improperly, because even though they're in the middle of the street and everybody else is, like, cordoned off halfway down the block, everybody who is, like, gawking at this scene and filming it to go up on their YouTube channel and put up on social media have divined that they need more hands on deck. So they rake through the barricades, run through the tape, and just swarm the ladder truck. And they're all going to help lift the truck and get it off Buck. And Sanctuary by Welshly Arms starts. I've never heard this song outside of 911, but every single time the music starts and the people start running towards the truck, I start crying.
Yep. Yeah, it's very touching.
Back at Dispatch, Josh is comforting Maddie. Have we mentioned that Ali is sitting in Buck's loft watching
Yeah,
it?
she's also watching this on
yeah.
Channel 8 News, looking absolutely distraught.
Yeah, so she, like, is also looking like she's going to cry with relief.
Because, all of the many hands do make light work, and they are able to lift the truck high enough to drag a screaming Buck out, get him onto a backboard and up onto a gurney. And I think it is completely implausible that this is the way it would happen in real life. But Dwight does make the anchor from Channel 8 News makes a comment sort of that brings this season full circle, which is the incredible show of support and gratitude of the citizens of LA to the firefighters brings him back to the earthquake with all the expressions of love that LA had for its first responders.
Don't eat any brownies though, guys. No more
Don't
brownies.
send the brownies.
Yeah. And he does say, like, what a great moment for this city. I'm like, settle down, buddy. It's only like, a fire truck that got blown up and then...
No, but he's watching this footage that's coming in and he's thinking they're going to get a Pulitzer for it.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah,
award-winning television right at this moment.
Yes.
Taylor Kelly is gutted that she wasn't there covering it.
Bobby, he follows Buck to the ambulance, but then he kind of doesn't go with him. Even though I'm like, dude, that's your
Athena
son.
Tackles him.
Get in there. But
I
no.
don't think there's enough room because Eddie climbs in after him. I think Hen climbs in after him as well. And there's not a lot of room in those.
That's like a clown car in there. They can fit heaps of people in.
Oh my god, the clown car.
They can fit two guys and a tape, like 3 guys and a tapeworm in there. No, 4. 4 guys and a tapeworm in the back of the ambulance. Clown car.
That was before that was the ambulance that they blew up. I think the ones that they got after they blew that one up are smaller.
Are they?
But yes, he also can't get into the ambulance because his fiancée tackles him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tells him he's a fool. But she loves
him.
And Buck wakes up in hospital with his leg in a cast. And Carla is there like some kind of guardian angel.
I was really surprised that Christopher wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. Eddie's parents are still in town, so they're babysitting.
That's what it was. Someone's actually being responsible for Christopher at this point.
Yeah, he doesn't just have to wander around the hospital again. Yeah. He does like to do that.
Carla is watching over Buck, which Buck is slightly surprised to see her. She says, of course, that she's going to be here. She sees her friend being crushed by a fire truck. She's going to be there. And you can see Buck waking up and like the order of events clicking through in his brain. He's like, hospital, fire truck, shit, my leg. And his leg he's in like a full leg cast, and then it's also being suspended above the bed.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a panic attack, but Carla sort of calms him down and says that you made it through the surgery and now you're the proud owner of 1 titanium rod and 4 beautifully cobalt chrome screws.
Doesn't really calm Buck down though much, because while the doctors were certain that he would be able to walk again, they weren't sure that he was going to be able to work again.
Yeah, Buck's pretty upset about that.
Yeah, Carla's just like, let's just take one day at a time. Let's just be glad that you are alive. And Buck kind of rolls his eyes and are like, well, if I'm not working, then there's no point me being alive. And I love this little scene because Carla decides to distract him by changing the subject, and she goes, Allie seems nice. And Buck's like, oh, you met Allie? She's like, so we're into brunettes now. And Buck sort of very sheepishly says, well, she was blonde when I met her. And Carla, despite, I don't know how much she's seen Buck since she kind of started looking after Christopher, but she sort of looks at him and teases him a little bit and says, oh, so we're just going to cover the waterfront then, which apparently means we're going to cover a wide range of experiences. So, he's had the blonde, now he's got the brunettes.
Oh.
Buck must know what she means.
I hadn't heard of that one.
No, but Buck understands it probably from context. He's like slightly scandalized. He's just like, Carla!
I love Carla. But then Ali and Maddie walk in.
Yeah.
And Ali goes straight to Buck and gives him a kiss. Buck thanks her for being there. And Maddie's like, he didn't thank us, but this is fine. And Carla's like, I don't even think he knows we're still in the room. But yeah, it's a nice difference from when Chim was in the hospital in season 1.
Yeah, every time Chim wakes up in hospital, he's by himself.
Excuse me, Chris was there.
Or
I don't
Bobby.
know who else
But like he doesn't have a significant other there. Whereas
like Buck and Ali just spoke about how they're not ready for the next step, but Ali was still there to support him after his surgery, which is really nice.
Now.
Just noticed it was a
much nicer wake up than Chim's had.
I actually had it in my notes too. I'm just like, oh, it's nice seeing someone other than Chim in hospital for once.
Poor Chim.
Poor Chim.
We'll have to, in your little tracking spreadsheet thing, I'll have to start adding hospital visits.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 for Chim, 1 for Buck.
Yeah.
Chim
no,
2
for Buck. He got stabbed in the neck, remember? With the steak knife.
2. Yes, that's true. 2. So they're tied for hospital visits so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since Abby sucks at CPR.
To be fair, you can't do CPR when the whole point of CPR is getting oxygen down into the lungs when there is an obstruction in his throat.
No, that's what I'm saying. She tried to do mouth to mouth while he had an obstruction. Like, that's just going to push it further in.
God, that was a long time ago.
It was. It really feels like it was.
Oh.
Look, I have Abby thoughts today for no reason at all. Anyway, so then we go to Karen and Hen and Denny at a playground.
And, like, long story short, Hen Ren want to get pregnant. That's literally the gist of this scene. They want to have a baby.
Yeah. It's a really nice scene, though. They're just having a nice time at the park, having a chat about, wouldn't it be nice if we had another kid?
Yeah.
Because...
That's it.
That's it. That's
Karen's got a new job. She's now working part-time. So she's going to be home more. So she has the capacity to be there to have another kid.
Oh, I do actually just want to mention, so Karen says that, like, she's working remotely, and she mentions that she wishes that Hen could work from home. And Hen's like, the day I'm working from home, our house is on fire, so bite your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hen also says, remember when working remotely wasn't even a thing? And I'm like, this is 2019. Like, working from home is about to be a thing. Like, a much bigger thing than you ever imagined.
Yes. Although Hen still doesn't get to work from home.
No.
Even in the midst of a pandemic, the first responders still don't get to work from home.
Hey, as a retail worker, I also didn't get to work from home.
No, you're essential, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Apparently.
Puppies need their food. Just like humans do.
Yes.
So we've set up the Hen Ren trying to conceive storyline. We're going to... The rest of this episode is like just quick little scenes, kind of setting up the rest of the characters.
Yeah, it's just like tying everything back up into a nice bow before the end of the... Like the end
tying
of the
up the bow for the end of the season, also setting up the next season as well.
Yeah.
So we get back to the 118, who have a shiny new ladder truck.
They're not allowed to flip, crash, or blow her up.
And
he's like, oh.
Damn it.
And then Bobby comes out.
Yes, Bobby made no promises that they would not flip, crash, or blow it up anytime soon.
Like, Like, as if it was their fault that it
I don't think
blew
any
up.
of that was their fault.
It has never been their fault. And can I just mention Eddie Daddy Issues Diaz, how quickly he just immediately goes for the hug for Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, everyone hugs him.
I know, but it's just, it feels like Eddie and Bobby's hug, like Eddie is always trying to hug Bobby.
Can you blame him? Have you seen Peter Krause?
He does look he's very dad shaped.
He's very
He seems like he'd
dad-shaped.
He
give
just
good
gives
hugs.
really great hugs. Yeah.
Yeah. And Eddie is the daddy issues are showing, especially since he's been reminded about his own father.
Literally.
Anyway, so yes, Bobby is back as captain of the 118. Interim Captain Hahn is stepping down.
Much to
Nobody's
everyone's
gonna miss
relief.
him.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to miss him.
But yeah, so it's kind of hard to fire the guy who was the hero of the 6 o'clock news. Hen makes a very dated joke about a fiery tweet storm.
Yep. But things are finally getting back to the way they should be.
Eddie
And-
says almost.
Almost. And because of course it's Eddie who misses Buck. So we go back to Buck's loft, and Buck's coming home from the hospital.
And poor dude, he's so glad to be out of the hospital. He misses his own bed, which he won't see for the next 3 months because he's on crutches. And those stairs up to his lofted bed are dangerous for a most able-bodied person. There would be absolutely treacherous for someone on crutches.
Yep.
Yeah, like I don't even know how they got the bed up there.
Yeah.
I would like to imagine some kind of pulley system.
Probably just several
Because
firefighters.
there's a nice little, like, fancy thing that's wire. They could, like, throw a rope over and, like, it doesn't matter. Buck's not going up there for the next couple of months. He's strictly sleeping on the couch in his own apartment. So the irony is that he bought his own apartment to get off Maddie's couch. And then he's still on the couch.
He's back on his own couch.
So yeah, Buck says, lesson learned, never sign a lease if you intend on being crushed by municipal equipment. And Ali just goes, how about not get crushed by municipal equipment?
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
But then they have a conversation about what's next for Buck.
Buck immediately panics too.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a... He reacts very strongly to this question. He's like, why? Did the doctor say something to you? He's, like, clearly worried about this. But he says there'll probably be a lot of physical therapy. And
then he'll go back to work. And
yeah,
Ali's
of course.
like, you just want to go back to work. And Buck's answer is, well, what else would I do?
Yeah. So yeah, Ali's worried because she just watched him almost die. And Buck's like, I didn't. And she's like, well, you could have.
But I didn't.
He's like, but I didn't.
And Ali's like, it's not you, it's me. Oh, no, she doesn't acknowledge that it's her problem, but kind of does at the
Well,
same
she
time.
kind of does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like, it's not like I didn't know you were in a dangerous line of work when I met you. But that was one day of her life. And it's every day for Buck.
And she's starting to understand what that means. And Buck immediately jumps to the worst conclusion and says, wait, so you want me to quit my job for you? And she tells him no, she would never ask him to do that. She knows that being a firefighter is who he is. She's just not sure if it's who she is. Yet.
What does that mean, Ali?
It sounds like it means that she's not going to be treating him as a hotel when she comes back from New York next time.
And then we get another little sweet scene with, well, a sweeter scene than the last one, I guess. It's like the opposite of the last one. Maddie comes to the station house to see Chim, and she says, remember how I asked you if things were ever going to be the same again, and you said no. And Chim's like, yeah, I think maybe I was wrong about that. And Maddie goes, I think you were right. And Chim's face just like, he's like, oh, okay. But she says, no, that's okay. We're never going to be like that, but maybe we could have something else. And then they have a little smooch. So cute.
Yeah.
He says,
I love Madney so much.
He says, you were standing right there when you asked me out on a date, and I'm not sure I'd ever been so happy until right now. Oh.
They're so gross.
At this time, they don't have an audience cheering them on,
Oh, yeah.
which is probably nice for them.
And then we have a bit of a time jump for this in this commercial break, and we're back with Maddie again, but now she's at home.
No, she's at Buck's apartment.
She's at Buck's place. Sorry.
I don't think we know where Maddie's living right now. I was thinking about this, and now we've got the set of Buck's apartment. I don't know if we ever see Maddie's apartment. Can you remember if we see Maddie's apartment, Alice?
No, I don't think so. Like, we know, last time we heard in the heist episode, they were trying to get out of the lease. And then it's been a while, and now Buck's signed his own lease.
Where's
but we
Maddie?
have no idea what. Yeah, we don't know where Maddie's staying.
So this is Buck's apartment, and Maddie is butchering a pair of Buck's duty pants. Just like ripping the leg off one of them. I guess so Buck can put them on over his cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, is he going back to work with his leg still broken? Like, what the hell?
Well, he has to.
But
He's got an important ceremony to attend. He
Yeah,
needs to be in
she's-
uniform.
Like, Maddie says, I don't even know why I'm taking you. You shouldn't be on your feet. And Buck's like, this is more important. So there's no way he's going to miss out on whatever this is.
He also mentions if he breaks anything else, they can just fix that too with the other stuff. And he's like, what other stuff? So Buck, he reveals here that they want him to have another surgery because the x-rays weren't right, so they're going to go in and replace the rod and do some bone grafts. And Maddie's just like, oh, well, do they think it's this or this or this or this? And Buck's like, what? And she's just like, if it's healing slower than expected, just wait a few weeks. And Buck says that he's not waiting. The sooner that he has the surgery, the sooner he can go back to work. And Maddie reads between the lines here and sees that the doctor does want Buck to wait. And, they're talking about his health, his ability to walk, and the rest of his life.
Buck counters that being a firefighter is his life. It's the only thing he's ever done that's important. It's the only thing that matters. And if he doesn't have being a firefighter, he doesn't have... Maddie interrupts him at this point, but the implication is if he can't be a firefighter, he's nothing. Which is really sad because we had this kind of sentiment from Buck 1.0 way back in the pilot when Bobby tried to fire him, and Buck's like, no, you can't fire me. I need this job because being a firefighter is all I have. But, like, what are we, Buck 2.0? So Buck 2.0 has a much fuller life than Buck 1.0, because Buck 1.0 was living in a frat house. He didn't have a relationship. He just had a series of hookups. He didn't have any family. He didn't have any friends. Buck 2.0 has an apartment. He has a sister back in his life. He has a best friend in Eddie.
He has a kid.
He has a kid in Christopher. His life is amazing. He's had relationships. He's in a relationship with Ali.
Well, as far as we know.
Yet he still...
Yeah, I just assumed they'd broken up at this point.
Yeah.
But he still thinks that he has nothing in his life if he's not a firefighter. Or that nothing that...
I guess his worry that is if he, isn't a firefighter. Because his most important relationships, right? They're, Bobby, Eddie, Chim and Hen. And he spends so much time with them, and if he's not a firefighter, they'll just throw him away. That's his worry.
Oh, the psychology of what is going on in Buck's head right now is fascinating. And completely understandable for why he is reacting the way that he is reacting. I don't know.
He's broken. In his own head, he's broken.
Get it.
So what will he do if he can't do what he knows how to do?
It goes deeper than that, but we can't
yeah.
say anything. But yeah, he's
He's terrified that if he's not a firefighter, like, he'll lose all the, like, everything that he's built in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He has nothing if he's not a firefighter, because everything he has is built around being a firefighter.
Yeah. And, like, you know, we...
Yeah, Autumn agrees.
Do you want to be a firefighter? Come here. Come here.
One thing I noticed about this scene that was kind of, I thought was kind of funny, was that not just this scene, but the scene previously with Ali, is that Oliver's eyes look really red, like he's been crying, like even at the start. And I'm like, did they do multiple takes of this? And he's just been gradually getting more upset as they go
Possibly.
on.
Maybe.
Because he looked like really upset right from the start, like his eyes are all red. I'm like, have you already been crying in a different scene? Or yeah, but it's sad. Like, obviously they've filmed both of these scenes back to back, so he still looks the same as he did in the other scene.
And I guess every time they do a take, if they've had to do multiple takes, they can't he can't reset his eyes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, they can
polish your
they can
eyeballs.
touch up his makeup, they can, like, wipe away if he's had any tears come out, but they kind of can't take away
If
the
his eyes
redness,
are red, then that's it. Yeah.
But it
anyway,
it kind of works well. It just sort of looks like Buck's just sort of been perpetually crying for the last couple of days, which he probably has.
Oh, bless him. When's he going to find someone who's not going to just break his heart into little pieces?
No,
don't tell me. I'm sure this...
Hang on. So we're going to his graduation ceremony.
But we are going to a graduation ceremony. Well, yeah, going to a graduation ceremony. That's what's more important than Buck resting, because Eddie
it's Eddie's
has finally
graduation ceremony.
hit his 1 year mark, and they're starting their shift with a little party for Eddie. They've got tables lined up in between the trucks. There is a cake that says "Congratulations, Firefighter Diaz" on it.
Yeah, it's not some weird. It's not some weird cake. It's just a normal cake.
It's just a sheet cake with the LAFD shield in the centre and the wording on either side.
Yeah, it doesn't have any snarky comments or anything.
No, you only get the snark if you die or get hurt.
If you die.
And Bobby's giving a speech where he says that people assume that we, i.e. firefighters, and hang on, I gotta get my shot glass ready. People assume that we choose this life. Drink. I'm not so sure. Sometimes I think this life chooses us. Drink. For those of us that answer the call, there can be no doubt, no equivocation. It's not just the lives of those we serve that depend on us, but our own, and the lives of our fellow firefighters and first responders. And today we welcome into those ranks a new brother. After a year of hard work and dedication, Firefighter Diaz's probationary period is at an end. Welcome, Eddie. And everyone cheers. And I didn't realise this until I think the last time I watched this episode, but the irony that Eddie's life as a firefighter in the LAFD is just starting, as Buck's is potentially ending.
Oh. But he still wanted to be there.
He still wanted to be there. He needed to be there, but you can see on his face that this is so painful, both physically, like his leg, but also emotionally, that he's watching Eddie go on to work as a firefighter when Buck's not sure that he's going to be able to.
But Chris comes up and gives him his helmet.
It's so cute.
It's very cute. He goes, I've got your
walks up.
helmet,
He's trying
Dad.
so hard because he doesn't have his calipers with him, so he's walking
So
up with with his helmet.
And then he has his hat.
And he tells his father congratulations. I love Ryan and Gavin. They're so cute together. You can tell that Ryan really just does adore Gavin. It's not Eddie and Chris, it's Gavin and Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we end on a happy... We're not finished yet, but...
We end this scene.
You might be confused into thinking we were ending because we get a voiceover, right? Like you're thinking this is the end.
It's like the Return of the King. Like, you have an ending, and then you go, oh, wait, no, there's another ending. Oh, wait, no, there's another ending.
Part 2, yeah.
We do get a shot of Eddie and Buck hugging too, and Chim feeding Maddie cake.
It's, yeah, there's a slow-mo montage of all of the families, like being happy families. Even the Diaz's.
Oh, yes.
They're there, and they seem to be supportive of Eddie. Apparently his sisters are there, but you wouldn't know because they're not acknowledged at all. I do like that there's this little moment where Maddie and Karen meet for the first time, and I didn't realise that they had not met yet.
Oh.
It's cute. It's like the besties' other halves.
And then while all of this is going on, Bobby is just standing back, watching over all of them fondly.
Oh,
and
Dad.
yes, we do get a voiceover from Athena who makes a few more pointed comments about choices.
We choose each other.
Emergency is the absence of choice, but we call out to the people we love and we steal back that choice. And I'm picking up my shot glass because we choose each other. We choose friendship and family. We choose hope. We choose joy. We choose to live. And I am going to need to call 911 because I'm about to die of alcohol poisoning.
There's a lot of choosing going on.
It's a lot of choosing.
And the last choice in this episode is Bobby rushing in to drag Athena to the courthouse so that they can get married.
They're choosing to get married instead of doing laundry or grocery shopping or sleeping.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing tonight? Oh, today.
Yeah, because I think, I know it, 911 timelines are timey-wimey, but I think that they did Eddie's graduation ceremony at the start of their shift, and I think it must have been an overnight shift. So they did that, they've done their shift, and then Bobby is coming home from that shift, and it's the morning, and Athena's got the day off.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, so they're going to pick the kids up from school. I don't know whether Bobby means I'm literally going to go and pull them out of school in order to do this, or we'll wait till the end of the day and we'll pick them up from school. And he tells her, I know that you don't have a dress, but she goes, no, I have a dress.
Yeah, she does.
She sure does.
Okay.
You don't like the dress?
Here's the thing. I don't understand the dress.
No, I don't either.
Because I look at this dress and if you haven't seen the episode, or if you it's been a while and you can't remember what Athena is wearing, she has this off the shoulder with one of those little sort of sleeves that aren't actually sleeves. They just kind of wrap around your upper arms, and it's creamy and it's tight fitting, and Angela Bassett looks amazing in it, but it also has black straps and like these black cups coming out of the top of the like decolletage of the dress. It just
is that
looks
part
like,
of the dress?
See, this is what I'm
thought
not sure about it.
I thought she was just wearing a bra because she hadn't got like a good bra yet.
Yeah, I was like, she
what
didn't want to pop down to the shop, like pop down to like David Jones and get like a some kind of a strapless bra.
Yes,
Like,
I don't understand whether it's the design of the dress that it has like this black kind of color pop on top, or whether she's literally wearing a strapless off the shoulder dress with a black bra.
no, I'm guessing it must be part of the dress. It's just like a really odd design. It just looks strange.
I'm
beautiful.
I'm old enough that those old-fashioned fashion etiquette rules still have got drilled into me. So the fact that like you can see the bra and the straps are showing and it's the wrong color, it's just like, no, you can't go out like that.
Okay, hang on. No, I need to watch this to work out if it's part of the dress.
If anybody has watched this episode and like recognizes the designer of this dress, or can tell us, who is more fashion literate than apparently the three of us are, and can say to us, no, this is deliberately designed like this.
No, it must be deliberately designed. Why would she wouldn't?
It just
they wouldn't
looks
have
like
her at her wedding ceremony in a bra sticking out of her dress, surely.
Know. I mean, she looks amazing. It's just odd.
She always does look amazing.
It's
but
just,
like, the dress is a really strange choice. I think.
It looks like she's just got a bra on underneath. Like,
See?
surely it's not part of the dress.
I don't know, but then why? I don't know.
Harry's also just in a suit. He's not in a tux.
No, but he looks cute, and he didn't
He
want to
does
wear a
look cute.
tux anyway.
No, that's what I mean. Like, he's happily just, like, in a suit. He walks her
Yeah.
down the aisle, which is super
with
cute.
May on her on Athena's
Yeah.
other arm.
It just looks like a bra.
See, I could not concentrate on the rest of this scene because I'm trying to figure out what the hell Athena is wearing.
Well, there's not much else to tell. That they just
They get married. Yeah.
And that's it, basically.
Yeah, in front of a judge at a courthouse.
Yeah.
That's also not how marriage licenses work. You can't just get it the same day, except for, like, in Vegas. So maybe they went to a courthouse in Vegas.
I'm assuming that they've got the license already and they were just holding on to it until they got the details of the restaurant.
I'm pretty sure you've got to, like, name the date, though.
I don't know how marriage licenses work in LA. I do know that Bobby could probably have just married them himself.
No, I don't. I think you've still got to have another person. I don't think you can be a celebrant to yourself.
Wouldn't that be cool if you could, though? I don't know. I've just written
Probably
in a
can
fic
in
that
some
Bobby
countries.
marries everybody. Like, Bobby marries everybody in my fics.
Oh.
I have one of my best friends is a celebrant, so if you're in Melbourne and you need a celebrant,
Oh, that's good to know, just in case.
Any of
Even
our
if
4
you-
listeners are in Melbourne and they need some kind of celebrant.
and if you need a celebrant for because you're getting married,
You need a very inclusive, very
very inclusive.
celebrant, then hit Alice up for her details. Her details? Their details?
Her details.
But yeah, that's how the episode ends.
Yeah, this is a very
Yeah,
neat,
Bethina are now married.
a neat wrap up to this season.
Did we start with them kissing in season 2?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes.
Was that the first episode of season 2 where, like, Peter Krause
Yeah.
was trying to do the splits so that he could kiss Athena?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God,
Between the
that's-
engines, yes.
And we end
Oh.
on them kissing as well. So, all right, snaps to Tim Minear for all of this nice circular imagery. You know,
It
bringing
has
back.
circled back very neatly.
Yes.
It's a weird kind of, like, it feels like almost like they didn't know if they were, like, I know that at this point they did know they were coming back for season 3, but it almost feels like the ending where they weren't sure. Like, everything is quite neatly, apart from the fact that Buck is, like, still recovering from his injury. Everyone else is in a place where,
There's no cliffhangers.
yeah, they're at rest, I guess you might say. They're not in the middle of anything too outrageous.
Yeah.
I don't think did we have a cliffhanger at the end of season 1? I don't even remember what happened at the end of season 1.
Abby left.
Oh yeah, so there was a sad kind of component to season 1. And it feels like after last episode there should be a sad component to this, but there just
So
isn't.
Abby walked through the doors and we ended the episode on Bobby and Athena on their date, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we end with them, the end of the next season, with them getting married.
Yeah.
Now I need to go back and check how season 3 ends to see if the pattern continues. Did Bobby and Athena, is there a progression in Bobby and Athena's relationship at the end of every season? Stay tuned.
God, I don't even remember the end of season 3.
Like I said, the perils of streaming services, I don't know where seasons start and seasons end.
Literally,
kind of
yeah,
all
that's it.
roll
I
into
just
one
watched it
another.
all in one go. Which is why it's been really nice just watching it, like,
One at a time and being
Yeah.
forced to stop.
That's good. I'm glad I'm not holding you back.
No, and to recognise what happens in future seasons so we don't talk about them.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that is very definitely a season 4 thing, so we cannot talk about that yet. No, not holding us back. It's an interesting exercise.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so now we need to go back and have a think about all the episodes in season 2.
Yes, we get to talk about them all at once.
Yeah, compile a kind of our thoughts on to talk about next week. So, I mean, this episode, at least it wasn't like last week. We thought that it was kind of a filler episode, like it had sections where they kind of brought in the bits that needed to be wrapped up before the end of the season. But
you
this
kind of
episode,
understand what I mean when I said that last week was a filler episode, right? Because it was the key component of last week was the mail bomb, and then that which led on very nicely to this episode.
Yeah.
Which
but they needed some other
randomly
stuff.
in, yeah.
Yeah, and last week was put together in a rather it was like a strange way. Yeah, the way they put it together didn't really work that well. But this one was a lot better, I thought.
No, because you had the showrunner writing it.
Yeah.
Like, we still had some bits of it that were filler, like we didn't really need them, like...
Oh, I'm not saying he's a brilliant writer, and I'm not saying that, that there are parts of the episode that absolutely didn't work. But it was a vast improvement on last week's episode, and it's a vast improvement on a lot of the episodes from season 2, which we can get into next week when we can dissect which episodes are written by which writers and why we liked them and why we didn't like them.
Yeah, I'm still a bit sad about brushing the whole Shannon thing under the rug, but anyway, what can we do?
Get writers that actually care about female characters.
That would be a start.
Get some more women in the writers' room. Because I'm sure that there are female writers and there are female writers of colour in the writers' room. It doesn't seem to be translating on screen.
So next week we're going to do a wrap-up of season 2. And then I guess we're going to go straight into season 3. We haven't really planned that yet, how we're going to approach that. But yes, we won't have too much of a break this time. We'll just press on with season 3, I think.
We won't leave Buck in his cast for too long.
Yeah. Like we said at the beginning, you're probably too late at this stage when you're listening to this to get your thoughts in for the wrap-up episode itself. But we'd still love to hear from you and let us know what you thought about this season, or if you've got any comments about how the podcast is going in general. We'd love to hear that. You can leave us a comment on this episode's post on our website or in Spotify as well. You can send us an email, which is contact@thatweewoo.com, or send us a DM on any of our social media accounts. And the website, thatweewoo.com, also has all the other ways that you can subscribe to the podcast. So thank you all very much for listening to all of our season 2 episodes. We will talk to you again next week for our season 2 wrap-up. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
911 is a fictional show, but many of the situations portrayed happen in the real world too. If any of the topics we've discussed in this episode have affected you, please know you're not alone. You can call or text numbers in your country for help. Just Google crisis support in your location to find out the number. If you enjoy our podcast, you can help us out by leaving us a review on Spotify or your preferred listening app, and by sharing our social media posts. Find out more at thatweewooshow.com. All right, are we ready to go?
Holy shit.
What?
No.
What?
Sorry, I opened Twitter and someone had reposted one of Hot Priest's mirror selfies, and oh my god. Hang on. Hold, please. That was a bit of a jump scare.
Are you too horny to continue?
I swear we'll talk about season 2 eventually.
Oh, God.
See?
Oh my god.
See?
Wow.
I have a feeling that was a justified a response.
Damn.
Yes.
I think you need to send that to Lucy as well.
Yeah, hang on.
Damn. I just remember getting to the end of this. Maybe I'll talk about it when we're talking about it. But it was like, I got to the end and I was like, that was the finale? I'm kind of just a bit meh about the whole thing.
You're whelmed. You're not overwhelmed or
I'm
underwhelmed. You're just whelmed.
I was well and truly whelmed.
I think you can in Europe.
You can be. You can definitely be whelmed in Europe.
Why can you be whelmed in Europe?
It's
Oh,
10 Things I Hate
no!
About You thing.
Oh.
It's a quote from 10 Things I Hate About You. Bianca was talking to a friend and she's like, I know you can be overwhelmed and I know you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed? And her friend says, I think you can in Europe.
Oh, right. Yes, I have heard that quote before. I should really watch that movie at some point.
You should watch.
Wait, you haven't seen
I'm
it.
sorry, was that I really need to watch that movie at some point again, or I just really need to watch that movie?
I don't know. I don't remember having watched it before, that's all.
You don't remember Hugh Ledger's like seminal performance where he's serenading Cat on the bleachers
I've seen a
at
lot
the football?
of memes and clips from it.
Oh,
I
think
I've
we
seen
need
the
to
actual
do-
movie.
Yeah.
Like, instead of
my
recording,
God.
we might just need to watch 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
They tune in to get the last episode of season 2, and instead we're just talking about 10 Things I Hate About You.
You know, the
Miss Cat and her erotic romances that she's writing on the school computer.
the Monster of the Week guys just did like a commentary episode on Twilight, where they watched Twilight
Jesus Christ.
and recorded their commentary.
Oh, I was obsessed with 10 Things I Hate About You when I was like, I must have been like 15.
Yeah.
Obsessed. Like, I watched it so many times. I had so many screenshots of random things. I was so tempted to, like, instead of 911 Watch Your Emergency at the start of this one, just have Buck saying maggot.
Yeah, I could do that.
Such a happy boy.
He's just so happy about it. Don't say maggot. Maggot!
Three things in life make Buck happy. Eddie, Christopher, and maggots.
No, and just like
Worms.
insects in
worms in
people's bodies.
general.
Yeah.
He's an entomologist in another life.
He's like, being a firefighter's all I have, and Maddie's like, what about your intense love of insects?
The bugs?
Be a science teacher in a different life.
Or just that perpetual little boy catching bugs in the garden.
Oh,
Bless him.
that's a nice thought.
Oh, don't say maggot.
Maggot.